People do believe on that. People believe on the beginning, it was people saw the sizes, did not. Nah, there's no way the horse is gonna be able to beat up a Ken Shamrock, 250 pounds, look like the gods from Greece. So it's like Greek gods. Like, no, it's like there's no way. And when I finish him in less than a minute, people are like, whoa, wait, hold on, what happened here? How did he choke him? Yeah. He didn't knock him out, he choked him out. It's like never seen that before.
Yeah. I'm so glad he said Ken Shamrock, because I was gonna bring it up and I was just like, how am I gonna get this Ken Shamrock thing? What do you really feel about Ken Shamrock? The Amazon is a beautiful place. Guys, welcome to another episode of Jibber with Jabber. Today I am joined by a living legend. So many names. Mr. Royce Gracie. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure. I'm humbled. And I know you're on a busy schedule, so thank you for taking out the time and joining us.
It's my pleasure.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure more than it is your pleasure. Like, all my friends who do jiu-jitsu right now are just literally just like, their minds are blown. They're just like, how did this happen?
How did you get me here? Well, ask Rio.
Well, you know, this episode is also brought to you by MMA All Out. So there are so many questions I have for you, and I know you have a couple of answers for me. I want to take it all the way back to UFC 1 to start with. And the thing that's crazy about UFC 1, it's a mixture of a movie and a game, like one of those Mortal Kombat games. It's literally one of the, like, you know, you watch in the movies, there's a tournament happening where all styles are coming together to see who the greatest style is. Like, it wasn't so much like 5-6 fighters who all know each other's styles. It was everyone was bringing their own style to the game, which was incredible.
It was kind of like the Bruce Lee movie, Enter the Dragon.
Exactly, right?
And then Jean-Claude Van Damme did one like that, the Bloodsport.
Bloodsport, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, how did it feel going into that in the beginning?
But real.
Yeah, but real. That's what I'm saying. And even, I mean, the judges didn't quite know how to judge BJJ.
I mean, there was no judge at the time.
Yeah.
But the commentators didn't know what's going on. It was on the beginning. It was like a tryout.
Yeah.
For everybody around. We kind of knew because we already grew up in Brazil seeing this.
So this was a norm in Brazil, like different martial arts fighting each other just...
Well, let's go back in time.
Nice.
When my father started teaching and my uncles and they could develop jiu-jitsu in Brazil, it became to them a quest to find out which style is the best. And because everybody claimed that their style was the best in Brazil at the time, so my family decided to, my father, my uncles, it's like, okay, let's put it to the test. Let's see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So they started this challenge matches, and it became, they start to create pretty much was what we call the MMA, the no holds bar back then.
Yeah.
So, but it was more of a quest than a lot of people till today think, the Gracies are arrogant and they try to put down the other styles. No, it's not a question of being arrogant. We're just trying to figure it out, trying to find out if our stuff really work.
Yeah.
Because everybody claimed that their style is the best. So there's only one way to find out, is to take the rules out, the time limit, the weight division, no gloves. So then everything goes until somebody quits.
That's crazy. It was literally like the maddest move you could do. Is like, okay, so you think yours is the best? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's just figure this out. How did it feel going into, I mean, for you, was it normal, like, this fight might last an hour and a half? Like, because, you know, as a competitor, in a normal martial art, I say normal martial art, but there's rules, there's rings, there's point systems, so they know that, okay, if I'm going to get tired by the end of the round, I can stop and relax and breathe or whatever, where you guys were like, let's see who bleeds first.
My father had a match in the last 3 hours and 40 minutes or 3 hours and 45 minutes, something like this.
Wow.
So 3 hours, no rounds, one straight round for 3 hours, 45 minutes or 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Wow.
It's the longest match ever in the history.
Did you manage to see that fight? Or?
No, I wasn't born then yet.
Yeah.
But it's like, so we trust the technique that if it goes with no time limit, I'm not the strongest guy, but I got plenty of endurance and I know when to rest during the fight.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a very big part of jiu-jitsu as well. Brazilian jiu-jitsu is how to use your energy in an efficient way when you're under or when you're on top, to not just like, because you see a lot of fights, and especially with people who aren't a part of martial arts, they're just swinging and jumping and running and they're not conserving anything or being calm or just analyzing the situation.
Because you don't depend on speed, you don't depend on strength, so you're all relying on the technique. If you're strong and fast, better. But I'm not depending on those qualities.
Yeah. I mean, I remember watching videos of you guys just literally hosting events where you were just like, come to the gym, and you'd get bodybuilders who would be coming in there, and it's funny that you say the arrogant thing, but you never saw the arrogance on your side. It was always on the people coming into the gym who were like, these bodybuilders and just the excuses and they weren't humble about it. Instead of being like, okay, let me just learn what you're doing. It's obviously right what you're doing. Well,
that was the thing. They are coming in because they want to test it out. They want to see for real if the thing really works. We were trying to gain a student. So we would not beat them up, you see. We're not trying to beat them up, because if I beat him up and cut his face open, he will never come back to be a student. So instead, he was fighting. We were trying to convince him to become a student. So we just control and prove it to him. Hey, see, with technique, I can just subdue you nicely. And the guy finished the match and goes, man, can I do it again?
Nice.
I want to try again.
Sure.
What are you going to do differently this time? I'll control him, maybe one slap, open hand, but there was no, just to show it to him that the technique works.
And
in the end, they'll go, man, I want to come back and take classes. Okay, sign up over here.
I mean,
so he was fighting. It was a one-way fight. He was fighting. We were just controlling them.
You were just welcoming him,
trying to gain a new student. It's
a
hard way to do it.
That's an interesting way. It's an interesting way of thinking about it. It's just like, in his head, he's fighting to the death. In your head, you're going, I wonder which size gi he'd be wearing when he starts joining us.
Pretty much.
That's insane. So when it came to UFC 1, I mean, people's teeth were getting kicked out of the ring. You had sumo wrestlers, you had kickboxers, you had BJJ. You were, not the biggest, most intimidating fighter out of all the people that were there. And if I remember correctly, I think the accumulation of your fights were 5 minutes altogether of how much you actually spent fighting these people.
3 fights in one night.
And was that, the main thing that you wanted to get across, was that not just size doesn't matter, but the efficiency that you could provide even without size?
My father makes sure that he was like on my ear, son, do not hit your opponents. Do not hurt them. Win with technique. That was his orders. Totally different than my mother. My mother would be like, son, your father is old. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I want to see him on the hospital. I want to see some blood. I was like, Mom have some issues.
You're supposed to be the one that's kind. Stuff like that. I mean, what do you think? Because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has changed now. I say changed. I'm not in a position to be saying these things, but what are your views on the point systems in competitions now? Because you find a lot of fighters are now going more for the points as opposed to the submission, which originally, was the key of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. What are your views on that?
Not just in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but in martial art in general, was not made for point system. Taekwondo. Taekwondo, point system, room Taekwondo. Now it became a tag game. I touch you and I score the point and I win. You see, it's not, Taekwondo wasn't made for that. Taekwondo was made to knock you out, to defend yourself in a street fight situation. Most martial art, 99.9% of martial arts, was made for you to defend yourself for an attack on the streets, for a street situation, not for scoring points. So point system is what it's ruining martial art. On the same time, it gives a lot of exposure, but wasn't made for that. Do
you feel like it's ruining the game?
It ruining martial art. You see, in general, this is because now the guys are fighting for point system, have to be on the same way. So if somebody if you're walking down the street tomorrow with your girl, somebody pinch her, you're gonna, honey, hold on, I'll take care of this. Excuse me, how much do you weigh? There's no weight division.
Yeah.
You see, there's no weight division on the street. So, oh, sorry, honey.
Like I would have slapped you in the face, but you weigh too much. So
but he's too big for me, honey. Sorry, I can't do anything about it. It's not my division. There's no such a thing. There's no weight division. There's no. So you got to be ready for whatever to defend yourself for a street fight situation.
Yeah, and obviously, you mean the Gracie name is synonymous with. I mean, it's up there. Like, it's very rare that you can be around someone who literally changed the world, because you guys did change the world. You brought something to the world that you've left a stamp, or are leaving and continuing to leave a stamp that you've actually contributed to humanity. I know that sounds like but the truth is that's what you've done. You go to all four corners of the world and there's people doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. How does that feel?
I talked to Rorion many times about this, because back then what happened in Brazil stay in Brazil. There was not people didn't have the easy accessibility to the internet that they have today. So my father, my uncles, my cousins, my brother fighting back in Brazil, the world never heard about them until Rorion came to America. And when Rorion came to America, there was that, I talked to him about this, and he had a dilemma. Do I show people what we do, or keep it quiet and keep winning? Or will I show them, and then later on they might end up beating me with the same technique? So, and then he's like, man, it's like, he give me this example. It's like if I'm driving on the desert and I see a guy dying with thirst, do I stop my car, give him some water, or keep on driving? If I keep on driving, I'm good. I save my water. But if I give him some water and make him revive him, and he end up being bigger and stronger than me, take my water, take my Jeep and run away. It's like, do I do that, or do I keep on driving? Should I save him or not?
Yeah,
so should I save humanity by teaching? Because once America find out, and that's exactly what happened. America found out, the whole world found out.
Yeah. And it spread like wildfire, and even to this day, it spreads like wildfire.
Now it's everywhere, yes.
See, you shouldn't have given anyone water. That's what happens when you give away your water to people.
That was a debate that Rorion really...
Maybe the guy that got really the water was into the point system. He looked at Rorion and he was like, okay, I'm not going to beat you. I'll take a bit of water. So, I mean, this brings me to my next subject. There's people like Gordon Ryan, who people are saying right now, there's some people that are saying he's the best BJJ practitioner of all time. He's only 26 years old. What are your views on him? He's
good. He finishes everybody. And apparently he tells people, hey, I'm going to finish you in a foot lock. I'm going to finish you in the choke, in the arm lock. And he does catch. From the position, from the mountain, from the guard, he chooses.
Wow. And he tells people...
That's good. That's good. And it's not like the competition is weak.
Yeah.
Because the guys that he's fighting, that he's competing against, are very good too.
So imagine that he's telling people, and do you know that it's like the scene from The Matrix when she says to Neo, "Don't worry about the vase," and then he drops the vase, and then she goes, "The thing is, if I didn't tell you about the vase, would you have dropped it that time?" So maybe if he didn't tell them about the footlock, they're so worried about the footlock, they accidentally get themselves into that position, right?
Yep.
It's some mind games, man. Rio, don't worry. Komora, bro. Komora. So you've been to Dubai a lot.
Yes.
And you're obviously very welcomed in Dubai. What kind of made you be like, okay, I'm going to hit Dubai? What was the first initial?
I have a black belt in town. I mean, before that, Tam Khan, good friend of mine from England, brought me over. And then Amin became my black belt. He's been training for a long time. Came to America, tested for his black belt. Got promoted to black belt, so I come over to visit them.
Yeah, and
many times on the beginning I used to do seminars at Rio School.
Yeah,
and then with them, but then now got promoted, got his own place. So
yeah,
he's the only Royce Gracie Academy in Dubai.
Yeah,
so I come to teach at his place.
But I mean, it's amazing to see. Even when I came to see you there today, it's really nice to see kids doing.
I even taught
Jiu-jitsu.
seminar one time
Yeah.
over here in Dubai. I was teaching a seminar a long time ago. It's a real school with them, brought me over to teach at his place, and there was a power outage. So I was teaching a class on the dark. There was no lights whatsoever.
And no AC as well.
No AC, no lights. And the class went on. And everybody understood, and everybody on the dark.
Yeah, but to be honest,
At nighttime, on the dark,
to be honest, if I was there with you in the class and the lights cut out, my first thing would do, I would look at you, I'd be like, yeah, he's carrying on, so I'm carrying on. There's no one's gonna question it. Like, yeah, people must have been like throwing up all over the place. And
I've been in Dubai many years, many times. Yeah.
Wow. So again, Bellator is a big thing for you, right?
Yes.
What makes Bellator different to other organizations?
I think Bellator take care of their fighters more than just using their fighters. So they take care of their fighters. That's the only difference. The pay is about the same. The publicity, some of the other organizations might give better publicity. Depend where you are. You see, they promote you more or less. But I think Bellator takes good care of their fighters.
What do you mean by take care, though, specifically? You mean by?
If you want to retire, they wish you well. Thank you very much. Thanks for being with us.
It's not like, no, you're under contract, you have to finish
instead
these.
Some you'd want to retire. It's like, yeah, you retired because you're no good anymore. It's like they're using their fighters. They're not, you see, taking care of the fighters.
Yeah, I hear that. What I mean, it's quite crazy because I know you're only a human being, even though you're like a beast when it comes to jiu-jitsu. Do you get nervous? Or did you, like, were you more nervous in UFC 1? Or did the nerves kind of get more as you became to fight more and more? Or was it just like the same all the way through?
I'm asleep before my fights. An hour before the fights, I'm asleep. My brother have to come in and tickle my head, and it's like, can you wake up, brother? Whisper in my ear, can you please wake up?
We're about to fight.
We gotta fight now. We have to warm up.
Really? So nerves was
wake
never...
up, it's like, nope.
You never had nerves. Is that because of your character as a person, or is it because you have so much trust in BJJ that you're confident that...
The trust and the confidence that I have in jiu-jitsu. What my family did, and I listened to them, but everybody's different. You see, some people trust a lot, but before the fight, I hear some fighters have to throw up. If not, they don't walk out. Some they're very nervous about. They have to sit down and watch the other fights to calm down. You see, so I'm asleep. It's like so calm. Heart rate walking in, it's like 75, 80.
Really? Like and you're just like chilled. You're just like,
That was
I need
one
to finish this because I need to go back to sleep again.
That was one time I was walking out for a fight in Japan, and I felt that my brothers and my cousins, my teammates were all nervous behind me. On the catwalk, halfway through, I stopped and I was like, guys, come here. They're all like, are you okay? Everything okay? It's like, guys, breathe, relax. I'm at home, okay? I got this. You're like, okay, fine, go do your thing, go.
You're like, I'm the one fighting. Why are you guys?
I have to calm them down. Yeah.
Wow, that's insane, dude. What?
But that's knowledge. I just know what I'm doing. So it's not. I trust the technique, and I just happen to know what about fighting.
It's the recipe, right? It's like the family recipe when you know.
Yes,
it's there. You know that you have the family recipe. How much pressure was there, or is there, in the Gracie family, to be a BJJ practitioner? I mean, do you ever have the chance because I want to be a hairdresser. I don't want to carry on with this thing. You have that.
There's no pressure.
Yeah,
I never force my kids to do it. They have to learn. They have to know the basics. Because the Gracie name is a heavy name. Yeah. It can be a blast or it can be a curse. Yeah. So if you don't know what you're doing, you'll be a curse.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people will put you to the test. So at least you have to know the basics. You see, you don't have to teach if you don't want to. If you want to do something else, go ahead.
But you find that most people do want to teach?
we're passing on to each other. My father never taught us how to fight. He taught us how to teach.
Wow.
So we can teach from a young age, growing up in the Gracie family. Every member, we grow up on the mat, so we know how to teach. Fighting is just for the fun of it. It's just a side thing. It's like
just something you do when you wake up after you have a little sleep, right? Just like, I had a little nap, I'm ready to fight, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, but it's so we pass on to the next generation the bread and butter. Like, hey, if you want to teach, some of them, there's not everyone that teaches. Some of them is like, I'm not into teaching. I like to train, but I want to do my own thing. I want to be a lawyer, whatever, doctor, whatever. It's like, so go ahead, go carry on.
Yeah, do your thing.
But at least know the basics, because it will come up, that people will come up to you and go, so you're Gracie, can you fight?
Did this happen a lot?
It will happen. It will happen. So you better know what you're doing.
Did you find that once you guys started to gain more notoriety, that people were challenging you a lot more? And was it mainly just in the gym where they would come and challenge you, or was it in the street, where street fights, where people just wanted to kind of prove to their friends that, oh, look, I beat a Gracie? Or
not on the streets, because if we're fighting inside of the gym, the guy comes over and we prearrange and it's okay, it's under control. But on the street, the only problem is I'll stop when I want it, not when he wants it.
Yeah.
I quit. No, I'm not done yet. But I never had a fight in the street. So it's maybe because of discipline, because self-control, but I never walk away from one either. But apparently people
they walked away from
they probably read on my forehead, don't F with me.
Totally.
With blinking lights going around. So
do you find that, because I find with the more martial artists I know, they're the ones who try to get out of a fight. They try to squash a situation. They have a sense of control where they know what they can do, so they're not out there to prove to anyone. But then you get people who've never fought a day in their life. They're about this high. They want to start the fight.
But then sometimes there's a point, there's a limit. I'm an instructor. I had plenty of confrontations that I'll stop and I'll teach the guy a lesson. And you see, just on words, I'm very calm. But there's some of my brothers and cousins, they're not that calm. They'll tell you once and you insist on the mistake, they will hit you. They'll take you down.
I mean, I think I'll take the first one. I'm not gonna start doing it. A lot of people know, and a lot of people don't know, you don't wear a black belt, you wear a midnight blue belt. Why is that?
On the beginning, when my father learned, my father and my uncles, it was a white belt, light blue, and a dark, like royal navy blue. Black and white pictures, they look like black belts, but they were not. They were royal navy blue.
Wow.
With time, they create the federation, the BJJ Federation Brazil, and they create a whole new belt system. So they award my father with a red belt as a grandmaster.
Okay.
My father, with time, went along, but he noticed that people were getting promoted because they win tournaments, not because they know the art. Example, Mike Tyson walk into a karate school, knock out all the karate instructors. Do that make him a black belt in karate?
No.
No. Why not? Because he doesn't know the kata, the system. Is he a good fighter? Yes. Can he beat everybody? Yes. Does he know the system? No. So same thing in jiu-jitsu. My father started noticing that people getting promoted because they win the tournaments, not because they know the self-defense style that he created, that he developed. So the past few years of his life, he changed his belt and started to put a blue belt back on, the Royal Navy blue belt back on.
Wow.
I always got promoted by him. So once he passed, I decided to put a belt like his with his signature on the end, and promotion stopped right there.
Wow. That's really cool. And that's from that day forward, that's the way it is.
That's how I just use that one. Don't want to get promoted anymore.
Wow.
Promotion start right there.
Now,
stop, I mean, right there.
Yeah.
It's like when he passed, yes.
That's amazing. That's really, really cool. Now, I've heard that you said, just from a friend of mine, I'm not going to say any names, Rio, that everybody has a price to fight again. Do you ever see yourself fighting again? Is it something that you're interested in at all? Can we start a GoFundMe just to see Royce back in the back in the ring again?
Hey, everybody have a price, but no, I'm not interested. The body doesn't recover. It's not because I'm out of shape. No, it's just the body doesn't recover as fast. But hey, never know. I'm not gonna say never because tomorrow a very big price appears.
Who would you fight?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter who.
I never pick an opponent, so.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you'd be quite interested in fighting? You think would be a good fight or anything, or you're just like whoever
when you're
comes?
on the top, you don't
wake
choose.
me up.
When
Just
you're
wake me up.
When you're on the top, you don't choose the opponents. Let them choose.
Yeah, that's crazy. Who do you see as right now as the future of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Oh man, Neiman. Neiman is fighting really good.
Yeah.
This next generation, Hobson too, is coming up. My son Khonry, they're not competing in BJJ, but they learn jiu-jitsu for fighting. So, and they're very good, very disciplined. Yep.
How important is it, do you think, to compete as a BJJ practitioner? Do you think it's an important part of the whole learn jiu-jitsu and then turn it into competing, or compete while you're learning, or are you happy with somebody never competing and just learning jiu-jitsu?
I mean, you can compete as long as you don't compete for scoring points. If you compete to go for the finish, is like Gordon Ryan does. You see, it's different. He's not worrying about the points. But if tomorrow it happened that he couldn't win the opponent, couldn't finish the opponent, but he won by a point, hey, take the victory. But he's not competing to thinking about, I'm going to score the points, and you see, no, he's competing, he's going for the finish. I like that.
Apparently now he's got some
like
issues.
Charles that fights for the UFC.
Oliveira?
Yes. He's Charles the Bronx. He's really good at finishing everybody.
Yeah.
He finishes He doesn't compete. He's not thinking about the scorecard. He's thinking about finishing the opponents.
How important do you think that is to try and finish?
Ryan Son.
Yeah.
Coming up. The kid's a big kid, man.
Yeah.
He's a big kid and really good, finishes everybody too.
Do you think that it's important that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu remains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in regards to, I know we spoke about it before about teaching it to all over the world, but do you think that having a Brazilian champion is very important to always have a Brazilian champion representing?
Okay, BJJ and Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, the difference is the teaching method. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, we teach towards a self-defense style. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they teach more of a point system style. That's the difference. But everybody now have to learn Jiu-Jitsu. Everybody have to learn. So it's not, that's the bond in between the other martial arts, between kickboxing and wrestling. You put Jiu-Jitsu in it to glue them together.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at MMA now, and you know that kind of style of fighting is, you're very rarely going to find anyone who's going to be willing to come in the ring without having Jiu-Jitsu as part of their arsenal to come in with. Because I mean, you'd be silly to, because at some point it's going to go to the ground if it does.
You have to know, yes.
Yeah.
You can't just rely on pure just wrestling or pure just kickboxing or boxing. No. You have to know Jiu-Jitsu to glue them together, to put the takedowns, the striking, the grappling, the defense in front of the guard, defense from the guard, the attacks from the mount. So the finishing holds, yes.
And what are your views on Sambo and Khabib in general, actually? just to kind of have your view from your side. What do you think of him as a fighter? Because a lot of people say, oh, he's a boring fighter. He just goes to the ground. What he's doing, what he needs to do.
He finishes.
Yeah, he's finishing.
Finished the fight. Yep.
Yeah, this is a fight.
He's good.
It's not an art gallery. We're not here to entertain, to give you something that's
kind of like the movie 300.
Yeah, exactly.
When Russell Crowe walk out by himself and kill everybody, and the crowd goes quiet. It's like, well, you're not entertained.
Yeah, that's
you see, it's simple. It's just not here to entertain people. Some of the guys try to make it like a show business. Not here to entertain the crowd. It's my life on the game.
Exactly.
My face that they're going to be punching, so I'm not here to entertain you. No, I'm here to fight.
Yeah, and a lot of people, it's funny that there's so many spectators who have things to say. People who don't fight, people who aren't trained, but they have so much to say about a fighter.
I think because the majority of the crowd appreciate when two guys stand there and beat the hell out of each other in bloody fight, and they're drinking. It's like, that was awesome. Yeah. And they just plant their feet and just duke it out, and seems like please the crowd better.
Yeah, but it's like, look.
Then when a fighter come in and just take care of business and finish the fight fast and done, and that was a boring fight. Nobody bled. There was no blood on the fight. Nobody went to the hospital. My God, that was boring.
People like to see that. People like to see these kind of things. And I mean, in the beginning with you guys, that was essentially what you were trying to tell people and trying to show people that, hey, listen, this doesn't have to go on for long.
Yeah,
we can finish it. How difficult was it for you to try and teach people this? How to translate it into teaching that, hey, we're trying to show you how not to fight, essentially. Do you know what I mean?
People do believe on that. People believe. On the beginning, it was people saw the sizes. There's no way the horse is going to be able to beat up a Ken Shamrock, 250 pounds, look like the gods from Greece. So it's like Greek gods. No, it's like there's no way. And when I finish him in less than a minute, people are like, wait, hold on. What happened here? How did he choke him? Yeah. He didn't knock him out. He choked him out. It's like never seen that before.
Yeah. I'm so glad he said Ken Shamrock, because I was going to bring it up and I was just like, how am I going to get this Ken Shamrock thing? What do you really feel about Ken Shamrock? The Amazon is a beautiful place. I mean, is there bad blood there, or is it?
He'd never admit that he lost. He always makes excuses. He's a sore loser. First fight, I choke him out less than a minute. As soon as I let go, he tried to continue. That's when I whisper in his ear, you know I won. You know you lost.
Yeah.
But you want to continue? Let's continue. I told the ref, let it go.
Yeah.
The ref's like, and then he's like, no, you're right. I quit. I tap. Second fight, we fought to a draw. It's like he just held on to me.
Because he knew what he was coming into this time.
He didn't want to fight 30 minutes. They had a 5-minute extra time. He hit me once.
Yeah.
And for him, a draw was like a win. You see, he's like claiming, oh yeah, because I hit him one time, and it was a draw.
Yeah.
It's like, but he's 220 pounds, I'm 180.
Wow.
He couldn't finish me. He couldn't beat me. And he played for the draw. He just hold on. It's the most boring fight, man. Hold on to me for 30 minutes. And then the third fight, my last fight, he asked for a rematch. I was already saying, I'm done, I'm out. And he wants a rematch. So we finally did a rematch for Bellator. And it was my last fight and my first knockout.
Wow.
And he still claimed,
what a good place, a good person to get that first knockout on.
Yeah.
You were like, yeah, this was the one. If it was going to be
Karma.
anyone.
And he still talk and wants to do it again and keep.
Well, look, by the end of this episode, we're going to have a prize. Maybe Ken, you can come and do this again. You know, who knows? Okay, I've heard this been spoke about by everyone. By Joe Rogan, by anyone who's into jiu-jitsu, who's into mixed martial arts and everything, but I've never heard your opinion on it. They called him the Gracie Hunter, and I know you're like, whatever. There is no such thing. Sakuraba, what were your? I mean, I'm gonna leave the
Sakuraba is very good.
Yeah, what do you
very good
think about
strategy?
Sakuraba?
Very good fighter, tough as nail. First fight we fought for an hour and 45 minutes or 6 rounds of 15 minutes with 2-minute rest in between rounds. 6 rounds of 15 minutes.
That's nuts, bro.
It's like
Because if I walk up the stairs for 10 minutes, I'm done for the day. That's me finished.
Yep. People fight 3 rounds of 5 minutes and they're done for the day today. We fought for 6 or 15. So he's tough as he can come. Yep. As they make, man. It's like, probably, I would say the best fighter Japan ever produced.
And did you have any, I mean, I know during you didn't have any type of friendship or any type of kind of mutual respect for each other, but after the whole thing, was there kind of just a cool, let's just
pretty much
let's leave it as that.
Yeah, they're trying to fight me, so if we see each other, we're cordial to each other, always polite. But the first fight was a 9.5 in the cage fight, in 9.45 total. But the second fight we fought twice. The first fight he won. It was a 6 on the end of the 6th round, because it was unlimited rounds. If not, we'll probably still fight until today.
Exactly.
But it was a partial tear on the tendon, a crack on the shin from a kick. So that's when I sat down, told my brother, my father, hey, I can get up, but I can't walk. So they said, let's not confuse being toughness with stupidity. So they threw the towel. So you already proved that you're tough by being here. Continue. If you cannot walk, being a stand target, that's stupidity. So, but then we had a rematch a few years later. We had a rematch, and I beat him 15 minutes. It was 3 rounds of 5 minutes. So
I don't think you talk about it like it's nothing. When you talk about an hour and 45 minutes of fighting, you're like, I was just fighting for an hour and 40. I dare you to walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes alone on speed 4. I dare all of you.
Speed 4 only.
Yeah. No, but to fight. Like my kids jump on me today. Yeah. They love jiu-jitsu. They don't know what it is, but they know that if they shout jiu-jitsu loud enough and jump on me, they're doing it. That's to them, jiu-jitsu, and they jump on me, both of them. They're only 4 years old. After about 3.5 minutes, I'm like, I'm done. I'm finished. Like, to have a grown man essentially trying to kill you in that time, dude, that's a feat of mental, physical.
I went for a run once. Strength coach just called me up. It's like, hey, let's go for a long run tomorrow. We run for 41 miles. 7 hours later, I said, stop. My calves, both calves are cramping up. I can't take another step. Call the car.
But this is the thing that you don't seem to realize.
I got plenty of endurance.
Yeah. This is the thing that you don't seem to realize. You say 7 hours later, I started to cramp. To a normal person, they would say 7 minutes in, my calves started to cramp and I don't know what to do. So you have a mental. I mean, is it more? Because I know you guys have the whole Gracie diet and it's not so much a diet of weights and proportions, but a way of eating a lifestyle.
Eating habits, yes.
Yeah, eating habits. Is that something that you feel really made a difference, as well as the mental toughness and the...
It's everything put it together. God made me right.
Yeah.
With all the good qualities, with all the...
And you got it all right. God kind of missed out a couple of things with me because I get tired loads and I'm not even 40 yet. One other thing I wanted to mention about the Sakuraba fight. A lot of people said that it was a mistake to wear a gi in that fight. Do you think it was? Or
Never.
Do you think... No.
Never.
Because there was a lot of time where he was using your gi and your belt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't have anything to hold on, what do you think he would be doing? He'll be hitting me. No, hold on to my gi. I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
Hold on to the gi. At least he did not punch me that much.
Okay, makes sense.
If he didn't have anything to hold on, he'll be beating me up. He'll be hitting me.
You would be like, I'll show you that 7-hour run. Just running around. Wow. That's insane. So I never thought that would have been your opinion on that.
Yep.
Wow. There's so many questions, dude. I mean, where do you stop when you're talking to a legend? But now that I know that you do 7-hour runs, you do fights that are thingies, like this podcast is going to go on for at least 8 hours. I think 8 hours is a good time for us to do this kind of interview. You've got the endurance, you have the mental, so let's keep doing it.
Oh, I got plenty of endurance. Mental, yep.
So now you're doing I see you've got a lot of stuff with the tactical and the shooting and all of that stuff. That's a lot of really cool stuff. What got you into that? Where did you... You're like, I'm Brazilian. I have to know how to shoot. Yeah.
No, growing up in Brazil, you cannot buy guns, by the way, in Brazil. In Brazil, you cannot buy guns.
You cannot buy them legally.
Only the bad guys have it. So this whole thing of disarming the people, it doesn't work. They try in Brazil.
Yeah.
And a couple years ago, I heard that the more people die in Brazil than in the Iraq war.
Wow.
During the war, the Iraq is going on, the American Iraq fighting on the war over there. There was more people dying in Brazil during the war over there in Iraq.
To gun violence.
And there's no, yes, gun violence. Just the gun. Not talking about drowning.
Yeah.
Just guns. And you cannot buy guns in Brazil.
Wow.
So go ahead, disarm the people.
Yeah.
In South America, pretty much you cannot buy guns. So, but my father had a couple, and he always shot here and there, not very often. But when I came to America, met up with some students, law enforcement, and they would take Rorion and I to the range, and every Sunday, and would teach us how to shoot, and start to like it. And I like the whole idea of shooting. You have to, the way you breathe, the calm, and everything that goes behind, the concentration to be able to hit the target.
And you like the tactical side of it, of shoot, move, because you've been to real life tactical, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that just looks so cool. It's definitely something I want to try.
And what I tried the other day, not too long ago, I was shooting from a horse.
Wow.
That was awesome. Cowboy style, riding, bam, bam, shooting.
No way. What were you shooting?
Balloons. They set up a target's balloons, and the horses take off and galloping and going, and you got to draw the gun and shoot the balloons as you're going by. Yes.
How were you doing? Were you hitting the balloons?
Yeah.
Look, see, this is the problem. See, it's bad enough having to face a Gracie, but a Gracie that can also have a gun too. It's just not. It's not ideal. It's like you already have the powers, bro. Why you need to take a gun as well? It just makes things even more difficult, bro. You're just like haters.
I'm a hunter, so
that's it. Wow.
Give me a knife and I'll skin.
Well, look at
I'll take a
I'm just
skin
hoping
off
that all these toys are keeping you calm.
I'll do surgery with a knife too.
Do you like that kind of outback lifestyle of hunting and living out in the forest and that kind of stuff? Is that something that appeals to you, the nature?
Yes. A lot of people want to eat, but nobody wants to know where the meat or the food came from. I like to go get my food. So I fish, I scuba dive, and I jump out of planes and I go shoot.
Have you ever used jiu-jitsu on a fish before?
Not yet.
Just like,
not yet, but
you never know.
Presence of mind to be able to be calm when you're swimming with sharks without a cage.
Yeah.
You gotta have a lot of presence of mind, because some people stay in the boat and it's like, no, I'm not jumping that water, which full of sharks.
Yeah.
I was like,
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hey, I'm sure the shark can't fight for 2 hours, so it's gonna be okay.
I'll swim the shark.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's crazy. How important is jiu-jitsu for women?
Not just for women, but for everybody.
But I mean in general, because I know
to learn how to defend themselves. It's to give you confidence for kids, not just for women, for kids, for men, for a woman, for everybody. It's to give you confidence, to give you, I'm not just gonna say, oh, it's only for women. No, it's very good for women, but for men, no, it's good for everybody. We see kids getting confidence and it's time to talk and be able to stand for themselves, and same thing with men that get intimidated by a bigger person, and then suddenly they're like, oh, excuse me, this is my seat, sir. To a bigger guy, oh, I'm sorry, okay, sorry about that. It's like they have more presence and they're able to function better in general.
Because they're more confident in their own abilities and
same
stuff.
thing with a woman. A woman gives, they stay more aware of life. They're more aware of the surroundings, and not because they're gonna fight a man, you see. So, but it's not because I'm teaching them how to fight. I'm teaching them how to defend themselves. How to be aware of the surroundings.
That's interesting, because I always, I mean, there's so many martial arts, like you look at that, they promote to women, saying because this is developed in a way that if you're smaller or whatever, you can use it. For example, they say Wing Chun was made, developed by a woman for women, kind of thing. So in your views, it's for everyone. It's not
just for women, for everybody. Because why people option to learn martial art? Because a lot of people, if you ask that question, a lot of people say because I want to get in shape, because I want to get flexible. If you want to get in shape, go to a gym, lift weights, go for a run, 7 hours
7
later.
hours. Go for a run.
Go stretch. Go learn yoga. You see, if you want to stretch. So deep inside their heads, they're learning martial art because something happened to them. Or maybe they saw something happen as they drive by. They saw something happening to somebody. Or maybe they saw in a movie and put themselves in that position. That bug stay hidden deep inside their heads until a friend come over and say, hey, how about trying out this new martial art over here in town? And the person goes out, try out the class and like it, but they don't even know why they're trying out, they're doing. It's because something happened to them, you see, or they saw something happen to somebody, or they saw in a movie something that happened in a movie, and they put themselves in that position, and they're like, man, what if it was me? What would I do if the guy come up to me and push me like that? Or
prevention is better than a cure.
So they want to learn to, like if you watch a movie and people drowning and they fall off from the boat and they cannot swim, you go, man, maybe I should learn how to swim. Just so I can survive, float water, you see, float so I can tread water, so I can survive.
And get through, What are your views on, because I mean, this happens a lot in jiu-jitsu, and I want to know how you kind of taught against that to your students. You get a lot of people who have a very big ego, practitioners who, did I say ego? I meant ego. Well, maybe ego because it's jiu-jitsu, it's ego. And I mean, I've been to places before. I've gone there. I'm a white belt. And this guy wants to throw me around to prove a point. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, this is my second lesson, right? Like, what are you trying to prove to me?
That can beat you.
But you're a black belt. Like, what are you trying to prove? Like, you know, I know one move.
We have to eat too. Come on.
But what I'm saying is, you know, I have one move and I'm going to repeat that same move over and over again. Like, what are you trying to prove?
We need to practice.
Okay, but practice on someone who could do something back.
We need somebody.
I'm basically a glorified pillow. Like, do you not want to try practice against someone who can fight back? No. So you like that? You heard it here first. Promoted by the Gracie Academy. Egos. No, but you get that a lot where it's like, surely you should be wanting to help the new people and not put them off. Because you could put someone off if you go to a class, they're like, okay, I want to try jiu-jitsu. And this ass guy wants to come, throws you around the place and doesn't make it fun for you, doesn't make it enjoyable. And you're like, I'm not going to go there 4 times a week for him
but then depend on the instructor. That's the instructor's fault for letting that happen. So a brand new student shouldn't be sparring. You see, if he does spar, he should spar with somebody that's gonna teach him, help him out, not just beat him up.
But is this something you've come across before, where you've seen people and then or you've gone to another place and then you've seen people and you've been like, okay, I'm gonna teach you at this. this time it's your day to learn something.
But it depends. There's sometimes that the guy comes up on a lower rank, wants to come at me to rip my head off.
Yeah.
Even though he only knows that same single move repeating over and over, but he's coming at me hard.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna teach him how to calm. I'm gonna calm him down a little bit.
Yeah. You're gonna be like, Gracie, bro. You forgot.
As I choke him, I go, look at the light.
But I mean, you did that in one of your
Look
fights.
at the light. Go to sleep.
Follow the light. This is the only time anyone ever tells you follow the light. I mean, I remember in UFC 1, because there were no rules and stuff, and someone bit you, right? And
Gerard Gordeau beat my ear. Yes, on the finals.
He learned a lesson, didn't he?
I hold the choke a little longer.
You're like the ref. You're like,
he's actually a very nice guy. He invited me to go teach at his school years later.
Wow.
And I asked him, I was like, dude, there was only one rule, man. No biting. I should choose. No biting, no eye gouging.
Yeah.
And you bite my ear, took a bite of my ear. And he's like, oh, come on, man. Forget that day, man. Forget it.
Do you think it was better with the rules or without the rules? Do you think a limited rules? Really? Isn't there so much more to think about?
More realistic.
More realistic. But are you not kind of like, because you know now, I mean, okay.
Now I have to think a lot about it. Now I have to think about it.
Oh, you have to think more now of what not to do.
What I cannot do,
You're
cannot
just
do.
evil dude, bro.
Back then, you can do whatever you want. Just don't eye gouge, just don't bite.
Okay, so
2 things.
So back then, you could kick in the balls. Okay. Yep. Did people kick in the balls because you could? Was it something? Really?
Oh yeah.
See, I can just see on your face that you were one of those people that used to do it. You're like, oh yeah, I did it loads. Yeah.
No, wow. I kick one opponent in the nuts, so that's it.
Wow. How did the corona affect jiu-jitsu? Because it's very close contact, right? And then especially essentially in the first beginning stages of the whole corona pandemic and stuff.
Most schools became a law. So most schools had to follow the law. You see, they shut it down. They had to not shut it down, but follow procedures. So
procedures that don't make any sense, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Like this whole thing doesn't make sense.
Like flying on an airplane. Before you get on the plane, you have to stay 6 feet apart, and you have to wear a mask. And but then you sit right next to each other on the plane. It's like, okay.
But all of them. I saw a cash machine. Okay, now they were 6 feet apart this way, but there was another cash machine about a foot apart that way. So these people were 1 foot apart, but the people in front were 6 feet apart. So basically, corona doesn't travel sideways; it only travels forward.
Or if you walk in the restaurant,
it's fine. Exactly. Yeah.
If you walk in, you have to have a mask. But then when you sit down, so if you're on this level, the coronavirus don't pass. But if you're high, if you're standing, I'm in trouble because I'm tall, man.
Yeah.
You have no trouble.
Hey,
you're also on this level.
Don't forget about that one move, Royce. Okay, don't forget about that one move. I got it still.
You're also on this level, so you don't have to worry about that.
No, yeah, I know. It's just like the whole thing is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, at least if you give me real rules that make sense, I'll understand and I'll play your game, because this is a game. But
the way I look at it is
they have football games. So when the Euro tournament is on, it's fine to be 70,000 people in a stadium. But other than that, people are dying, and you cannot go see your children play sports day at school.
Yes.
And it's like, come on, guys.
If you're gonna make a rule, make it. If you're gonna shut down everything.
That's it.
Don't let anybody in the train, bus, stop everything. The airplane, don't stop the bus, but the airplane's okay.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like you cannot travel by bus because we'll spread corona, but you can travel by plane. It's like, doesn't make sense. The bank have to close, but the supermarket can be open.
Yeah,
it's like, what's the difference?
And gyms. The gyms in the UK, the gyms were closed, but the pubs were open. So you can go and drink alcohol and party, but if you wanted to go be healthy, you couldn't, because you could catch corona.
It's like the law, the rules, or doesn't make sense. So
I think it's not supposed to make sense, bro. I think they did the beginning right. They made everyone kind of scared, and now people are not really asking questions, and they can't really ask questions, so they're just going along with it.
Yeah.
Until whatever. Do you feel like it was the schools were affected a lot?
A lot of the schools were affected. A lot of the schools in the beginning, let's say they had to stop teaching, so they lost a lot of the first 6 months. They lost a lot of students, but after that, as soon as they reopened, they gained a lot of students. Yes.
Yeah.
So everybody came back, and people are tired of staying home. It's been what, a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So people are tired of doing nothing, staying home, and so they want to interact.
They've just gone for 7-hour runs, bro. I don't know what's wrong with these people, bro. They just don't know what's going on. I saw you took the ice bath. Is that something you do regularly, or is that something? Because we did that the other day with a guy here who does the Wim Hof method. I don't know if you know about Wim Hof. Yeah. So I did an episode where he was in the ice bath -2 for an hour during the podcast. I tried it. I lasted 25 minutes, and that was it.
You stayed for 25 minutes?
Yeah, 25 minutes. Yeah.
That wasn't cold enough.
Huh? It was -2. If you go back to the
bucket,
bucket,
full of ice.
My balls are still in the bucket to this day. The legend of my balls, I left them there.
Ice.
Full of ice. I'll show you videos.
How much ice did you put in the bucket?
You think you're the only one with crazy brain power.
How much ice did you put it?
It had a lot of ice, bro.
How much? A bucket of ice?
No, there was like 3-4 bags, right? Yeah. The bucket was full of ice and water. Bro,
because
I was so cold.
The ice that I jump in, we fill up 3/4 with ice.
Yeah.
And then we put water.
This guy thinks he's the only one with mental strength, bro. I got some serious mental strength.
25 minutes?
25 minutes, bro.
That's a long time.
Bro, let me tell you something.
You're in a jacuzzi.
It was so cold, I said to myself in my head, let me pee to make the water warm. My body said...
I'm definitely not going to go inside that water.
My body said, try and pee if you can. Nothing happened, bro. Nothing. I was so cold.
Water,
it was so cold, bro, that I was asking the guy during the episode, I was like, I know we're in ice, but are my legs supposed to feel like they're on fire? Like, that's how cold it was that my legs started to feel like they were on fire. They were gone. They were done. And he was 25 minutes, and me being the guy, I was like, no, I'm gonna stay longer. He was like, bro, get out now, or you're gonna die. Like, don't do it for the podcast. It's fine. You did long enough now. There's nothing to prove. Get out, or I'm gonna have to take you to hospital after this. And I was like, oh, all right, cool, whatever. But 25 minutes is not bad. Next time I'll take you to him, and you can check my levels of ice. We'll do the competition. How long did you get?
You got a tray from the
You know,
refrigerator.
the one with the cubes.
Yeah, the
You
cubes.
press the cubes down.
Pour it in.
No, there were bags of ice, bro. There were bags.
3 bags.
At least 3 bags.
3 bags.
And filling during the episode as well. Refilling. Yeah, when they were melting.
Sure.
Oh my god, I got to prove it. Listen, after Tams tonight, we're gonna go to Mr. Ice and have a little competition. It's another little thing. How long do you usually do?
6 minutes.
I see. That's why he doesn't believe I did 6. That's why.
Mine was ice.
No, this is ice, bro. This is ice.
Fill up with ice and then
Your first one was 5 minutes.
My first one was 5 minutes. Yeah, because I was trying.
I fill up with ice.
Yeah.
We fill up with ice and then we put water.
I had 872 cubes of ice in my bucket.
You
I counted them individually. No, it was so cold.
No wonder
Rio was
no wonder it was not that cold.
Rio was supposed to come, but conveniently something came up and he didn't make it. So, but he turned up after the thing. Apparently, everything was fine after that. So I was like, you didn't make it to get in the ice, but all of a sudden you're free again. I was like, yeah, you got out of this one. So, if you could leave the viewers with anything, what would you say to them about? You know what? I'm not going to limit it. What words would you like to leave for the viewers?
Anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta have discipline to get up and do it.
Yeah. That's it.
Simple as that.
No.
Discipline
And you think discipline is the determining factor of everything?
for everything.
And do you think that consistency is important?
You have to have discipline
Mm.
to have consistency, to show up every day.
Yeah.
Without discipline,
Yeah.
you're not going to have consistency.
Yeah.
So you have to have discipline to get up and do
Wow.
it. So
Yeah.
anything's possible.
Okay. Well, look.
A lot of people have talent.
Yeah.
A lot of people stuff, but without discipline, talent will go away.
Yeah.
Toughness definitely go away. So
I mean,
But-
that's the old age story, right? The person that is not as good as the other person, but put everything into it and never stopped and stayed consistent. He's the one that's now.
discipline.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get this contract signed. Let's start talking numbers about this fight. What are we looking at? What are we looking at
I
for
don't
this
know.
fight?
You gotta keep talking so I can until I say yes.
Okay. Well, look. I mean, okay. Here's a funny one. What if a YouTuber, they get big money, big money. What if a YouTuber said, if Jake Paul or Logan Paul said, okay, $2 million, let's do it.
Tell them to call my manager.
I can't believe I just made a fight between Logan Paul and Royce Gracie. Logan, call his manager. Let's do it for $1.5 million, $500,000 for promoting the fight. Right? Come on, I got to take some
Who
fees.
said I'm
You
not
said
gonna
everybody
accept that?
needs to
Who
eat,
said
right?
that I was gonna accept that?
Okay, whatever you accept. If 500,000 comes my way,
Tell him to negotiate and call my manager.
bro, this could be something, bro. Logan, you know what? Logan's in Dubai now. Maybe he's got some
We
crypto.
just miss each other.
Ah, there you go. See, we
just
could
miss
use
each
some
other.
crypto money to make the payment really quickly. Bro, it's been an absolute pleasure having you. You really made my day, and I'm really humbled to be in your presence, and for you to share your stories with us and
Thank you.
everything, and to take the time out and come down to the podcast, and hopefully many more to come in the future. And you guys can follow the Gracie School, Royce Gracie Academy on Instagram.
Yes.
And any other places you would like them to
Royce Gracie Network official
official.com
on Instagram.
on Instagram. Cool.
On website is just roycegracie.com. Yes.
Boom.
So you know my seminars and both. I'll post all my seminars when I'm traveling and
Nice.
teaching. And
I'm coming to tomorrow's seminar. I'm about to show you that one move. Over and over and over again. Dude, thank you so much. Really, it's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully we can do it again sometime. Bro,
Thank you.
Thank you so much, bro.